Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Raw Life Health Show. And I am Paul, and I've been eating raw Paul. I've been eating a raw vegan diet for many, many years. And praise Yah for this wonderful, blessed Genesis 129 diet that we can eat fruits and vegetables and be healthy. So I wanted to get on here and make a video today because there are people that are contacting me that they say they want to eat healthier. They're asking for my book. They're asking how to do it. And they're asking how to eat raw foods. How do you eat raw foods? And basically, when you go to a supermarket, I want to answer this question for everybody. And if you have questions and you want to ask questions, we can do so. And I'll show you a little about what I eat right now. But when you go to a supermarket, the only aisle I visit, now I have children, and they like to go run around the store and look at other things, but the only aisle that I'm really interested in going to is the produce section when I go to a supermarket. And that's only after I go through my garden at my house to see what I have to eat and not eat, or I go locally around to see what I can gather. And then if I'm making a recipe or something, I'll go to the supermarket and be focused on what I'm going there for. Sometimes there might be a sale on a fruit or something, but I don't even like to buy fruit from the supermarket anymore because it's just, I'm spoiled by growing my own food. But a lot of people can do this themselves. And somebody just contacted me. They said they can't afford a raw food diet. And I understand all these different things when nobody's teaching you how to do it. But I've been telling people this for a really long time and doing this for a really long time. And it does not have to be expensive to make your own food and to eat your own food. So I'm growing some sprouts now, and I'm going to have some fruit now. I grow my fruit and it comes right up the tree. But even if I didn't, the raw food diet doesn't have to be expensive. So how much, and put below the video, for those of you that are eating a raw food diet, do you think you spend more money now on raw foods or on your diet than you did before when you were eating cooked food or animal products and so on? Because somebody told me today that they spent more money doing a raw food diet. And it's kind of all relative, because I tell people when you're eating a raw food diet, you can go to a raw food restaurant, or you could either go to a supermarket and buy raw food snacks that are very expensive, but you can make them yourself. So for example, a raw food pie, let's say a raw fruit pie, if you have the ingredients, you can make it quite simply. But if you don't have the ingredients, then if you want to go straight to a raw food restaurant and make it, it's $8 for one slice of a pie. I could probably make that whole pie for $8, but for one slice, it's $8. So it can be kind of expensive when you're doing things without the knowledge and the wisdom. So here's what I'm going to eat today. Some of you have been asking. This is a chocolate persimmon, or a black zapote, also known as chocolate pudding fruit. I got this off my tree. You can order these through the mail. Again, they're expensive, but it's summertime here in Florida practically always. So you might not have this near you, but cherries or apples. I know when I lived in New York, I used to eat apples a lot. Apples in the farmer's market are very inexpensive. Bananas are always inexpensive. I like to eat within season. So yeah, but growing sprouts is very inexpensive. I love sprouts in my salads. And yeah, so somebody's asking a question. I wanted to take, somebody said, what do I do, use? I don't put anything in my, well, I put my food scraps in my soil when I plant stuff. My food scraps go right back into my soil. And it's all about giving and taking. You're eating, and it's going right back into the soil. And when you come and start eating a raw food diet, what I find is you become a minimalist in much of your thinking. And again, a minimalist doesn't mean you're poor or you don't have money. It just means I won't even say you're spending it wisely. You're just using it wisely. So you're using your money more appropriately, and it works great. But basically, for those of you that are watching now and you're thinking about going to raw food, think about this. Anything that comes in a bag, box, container, or can, really is questionable if man made it or if it was made in nature. And there's this really cool app I have on my phone now. There's this guy, his name's Bobby. I think it's called Flav City. And he goes around and he's like, is this Bobby approved? And he breaks down the ingredients in all of these meals and so on. And he never has to go to the produce section. The produce section doesn't need a label on it to say what's in there, because fruits and vegetables have vitamins, nutrients, and minerals. There's no artificial colorings, no artificial flavorings. And yes, maybe it's high in sugar, but if you don't overeat them, they're just fine because it's mixed up with the fiber. It's okay. Labels are wonderful. Nutritional labels are great. But once you have to read a nutritional label, you're eating something that's most likely to some degree processed. And the key to great health is to eat the foods that are as least processed as possible. So for those of you that are new to this and watching right now, when you go to the supermarket, look for the foods that are least processed as possible. Even if you don't want to eat a raw food diet, try to get the majority of foods in your diet that are as least processed as possible. And keep things simple. Keep things simple on every level in life if you want to be healthy and you want to be successful. And that's what I do. I keep these things as simple as possible. And while most people are trying to acquire more in life and get more stuff, I'm trying to get less stuff. Even with my food, I'm trying to eat less. I'm trying to eat as little less and fast more. I'm trying to spend less money and save more. I'm trying to I'm trying to grow more food. So that's one area I'm trying to do more of. But I want to be self-sufficient, but at the same time, I want to be minimalist. Minimalist is, I think it's the way to go. And I think it's the answer, because health has a lot to do with our stress levels as well. And I know people that have big houses, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of things, but they're not healthy because they're stressed. They're stressed on so many different levels. So I just try to keep it as simple as possible. As you see here from the thumbnail picture, I'm after all these years, I've got to a place where I can learn how to grow trees and stuff, and you don't need land to grow. Now, when I lived in New York, I lived in an apartment. I used to grow sprouts and sunflower sprouts and wheatgrass and things like that. But even now, I have a certain amount of land in my yard. I have a very small yard, but I made deals with my neighbors who weren't using a yard. And I said to them, I said, can I use your space and we could maybe split the produce, or I'll mow your lawn for you or something, or keep your yard nice? And they usually always say yes. So I have a lot more space that I'm growing food on. That's not even my place, but they're letting me use it. And in exchange, I'm helping them out. So I want you to just be creative in the things you do. Even the garbage I create. When I lived in New York, I used to put my food scraps in a freezer and go to a local garden and drop it off there in their compost. Now, if I knew then what I know now, I would have probably got a plot in that garden and I would have grown my own food. But at the time I didn't know. But there's nowhere in this world that you can't eat a healthier diet or eat healthy food, or just, if you want to be raw, you can be raw. You don't have to be all raw. That's another misconception when it comes to health. You don't have to be all raw to be healthy, but you want to do the best you can do. So sometimes it's easier to be not all raw, especially in the colder weather. It's probably wiser to eat soup than to eat a raw food candy bar to maintain, I'm all raw, I'm 100% raw. So try to do the best you can do with what you got. And I'm here to help you. And that's why I make these videos, and I have these doctors on and people that have been eating a raw food diet for a long time that know what they're doing. Also, I'm going to have some videos coming up soon about blood work. I love monitoring my health on every level: blood work, exercising, going to the gym. For me, I love going to the gym and exercising. And recently I ran into a situation where I actually, since COVID, I think I stopped going to the gym to work out and I started working out at home, which was not successful for me. You see, when I grew up in New York, I used to be in the gym every day working out. And yes, I was raw at the time as well. And I used to be in the gym working out. And then when I moved to Florida, I said, I'm going to work out outside. It's always best to do it outside. I don't want to be stuffed in the gym. Well, I was able to do some stuff outside, but for me in my personal life, I'm just the type of person that was used to and like to get up early, get to the gym, and I could sweat outside and be in the sun outside and all that, but I could do it inside as well. And I love the treadmill and I love exercising inside. So it kind of got to be cumbersome and distractive to exercise at home. So I wasn't really exercising the way I'm used to exercising since COVID happened. So it's like a year and a half. And finally, I got to get back to the gym. I got to get back to the gym and feeling so much better for it. And for me, it's not a vanity thing. It's very healthy, especially on a vegetarian diet and a raw food diet, to be exercising my muscles, because that's good for bone health. And everything I'm doing, my blood tests reflect if it's working or not working and so on. So what I'm doing now, and I've changed a lot over the years, and I continue to change based on my blood work, based on people I speak. What I was doing most recently for the last couple of years is I was eating from the time I maybe got back from exercising between 9 up till noon time, eating as much fruit as I wanted. And then in the early afternoon, I would have a raw food recipe and a big salad or something like that. But I've come to, for the meantime, at least now, we'll see if it changes in the summer, not do that anymore. Now I'm just going to not eat in the morning, or do a green vegetable juice in the morning and have my first meal at noontime, which will be maybe a fruit meal. And then in the evening, maybe 4 or 5 o'clock, I'll have a nice big salad. And if I make a raw food recipe, I'll make a raw food recipe. And for me, I want to stop eating as early as possible and get to sleep as early as possible. That has a big impact on my health. So there's a lot other things than just the diet we're eating. We want to make sure we're getting enough sleep. A lot of people that fail at the raw food diet, they just don't sleep enough. So these are things to consider as well. Let's see. I'll answer a few questions here if you have them. And I thank you all for joining me on here. So somebody said they eat chicken, but they feel a huge difference after eating mostly vegetables and fruits. My stomach is better and has more energy. Yeah, chicken. I mean, you can get away with eating some sort of meat, but it's just harder for the body. The best foods of the body are the body that gives your body the most nutrients while using the least amount of energy to get rid of the waste that's left over. And that would be fruits and vegetables. It has the most nutrients in them. Your body has to work the least to get the most. When you're eating things like animal products and things like this, your body has to work the least, or your body has to work the most to get the least. It's the opposite effect. So there's nutrition in everything out there today. But how hard does your body have to work to get those nutrients? And then how hard does your body have to work, or how much energy does your body have to use to get rid of those things? The waste of those things. And that's what we need to consider. So I think you'd be better off without chicken. I think you'd be better off without meat overall. I think you'll see a big difference in your health. I mean, there's no reason, and some people say, well, I like meat. No, you like all the sauces and everything you're putting on the meat and the flavorings and everything else. And you put those flavorings on a banana or something. You don't like, or on a salad. It's not the meat. Most people don't just eat meat, take a chicken and just eat it. They got to flavor it up and do all that. So flavor up a salad like that or something. Make some good raw food dressings and stuff. It is a big difference. And just try to go a couple of months without meat and then decide what you want to do. But I remember I used to drink a lot of soda when I was younger. And then I finally decided I'm going to go without soda for like a whole month. And I did. And then when I tried to drink it again, it was too sweet for me. It was amazing. But the body has an amazing power to adapt to what we do or what we don't do. So I was able to not go back to soda. I broke that addiction. I created a new habit. Somebody says here, I eat raw, but beans, potatoes, and mushrooms. What can you tell me? Well, beans, potatoes, and mushrooms. I would say as for potatoes, I mean, beans are okay. I think the best way to eat beans are sprouted and raw. If you got to eat cooked beans, you know, that's not the worst thing. Potatoes, now, you know, potatoes are very addicting. And most people prepare potatoes in a way when they cook them in not a healthy way. They mix it with stuff that's not healthy, and they cook it in ways that aren't healthy. You know, so you got to be careful with potatoes. They're very, very addicting. Mushrooms as well. Mushrooms, I don't consider a health food to begin with. I don't think they're healthy. They're more of a fungus, but there are medicinal qualities to certain mushrooms. And, you know, so they have their place in a diet and also in a medicinal situation. I think they can be very helpful, but mushrooms, making them part of a meal, you want to be careful with that as well, just because you don't want, you know, the flavorings that are made with that mushroom to, you know, to make you addicted to the mushrooms either. So you want to eat cooked food if you are going to eat it in a limited amount. You don't want to overdo the cooked food. I think at least 80% of our diet should be raw, ripe, fresh vegetables, fruits, nuts, and seeds. I think that'll be very helpful. Somebody said they just started eating vegan again and they feel not well and low energy. Is it a detox? Again, it's more than just food, because you're getting more or less sleep. That can make a difference. And meat can be very stimulating. So that might be an issue. I don't know if you have a deficiency to begin with, why you switch to eating vegan. But in general, if you're feeling low energy on a vegan diet, you want to make sure you're getting all the nutrients you need. A vegan diet can mean two different things. It could mean I'm eating a good amount of fruits and vegetables and getting all the nutrients I need, or it could mean I'm just eating noodles all day. You know, so vegan can be quite tricky from that idea. So you want to make sure you're truly getting what you need. So let's see. And it could be a detox as well. It could be a detox. So, but you want to get a good varieties of greens and green vegetable juice. Now for energy, I mean, I don't know what it is, but you know, the oxygen amounts in our body and also the inflammation that might be slowing us down. But the Valasta is something that I've been using and taking, and I know it gives my body, it keeps the inflammation down in my body, but it's giving my body so many antioxidants and it's so much more powerful than a lot of the supplements that people take, vitamin C, turmeric, and all of these different things. This thing is so much more powerful, this Valasta. It's at rawlife.com if you don't know about it. So let's see. I got to get going here soon, but if you want me to do these talks more often, I will, so I could answer your questions and help you. I want to try to help as many people as possible. So maybe this might be the way. So let's see. I started eating, fermented foods are excellent. Fermented drinks are not good. I'm not a big fan of fermented drinks, but fermented foods like sauerkraut, and if you make it yourself or get it from somewhere that's not adding a lot of garbage to it, sauerkraut and kimchi, very good. Let's see. I already said my daily meals look like. I have some fruit around noontime, and then I'll have a big salad with a raw food recipe, maybe in the evening. Maybe in the morning I'll have a green vegetable juice. I keep it simple. I do not eat rice. There was a time where I took a break from my raw food diet and I added cooked food back into it. And one of the things that became very addicted to me was rice. I was eating brown rice. I was making it delicious. It was just delicious. But in all, when I started eating cooked food, I just slowed down on every level. I slowed down, and I didn't like that. Now I'm not slowing down at all. All right, I got 3 more minutes. I gotta go do something here. So let's see. Yes, boiled potatoes and mushroom. Okay, that's not bad at all. Yeah, I haven't even had breakfast yet. I just had a green vegetable juice with pea sprouts, bok choy, and a carrot. I'm glad the Valasta is helping your arthritis. Wonderful, that's great. I haven't grown purslane, but purslane is good to have in your yard. It's really good. It's good to have in the yard. Listen, everybody, thank you for joining me. I wanted to get on briefly here with you all and say hello, and I'll be back doing more of these more often, these live chats and taking your Q&A. But you can post more of your questions below the video, and I'll get to them as well. But I got to get going. Have a blessed day, and try to do raw. Try to go raw for a week and see how you feel, okay? Have a great day, everybody. Thank you. Bye.